Stinky Kongversation. Ape Kongversation. Summer. Stinky Ape Summer.
Hello, and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
And I'm Malik. Hello! That's my name.
Yeah.
Please wear it out.
Of course, in my regional dialect, your name is quite beautiful.
What region?
Mid-Atlantic, United States.
Well, I'm from Utica, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase sorry, this is a Simpsons reference.
No, if you get down in the Chesapeake Bay region, you'll hear that all the time. That's how everybody will greet you.
Because they got clam chowder in their mouths, I guess.
You're doing the steamed hams bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, yeah. The thing about The Simpsons is I don't think it's as good as the Donkey Kong universe. And so...
No, it is not.
Okay, maybe like early days Simpsons, like we'll say the first 8, maybe charitably 8.5 seasons, or maybe seasons 3 to 8.5, better than anything the DKU has ever done. But I would say the baseline for the DKU has stayed consistently higher while the Simpsons has dipped into the abyss. And, that's not me being territorial here, Malik. I'm not trying to shame anybody who is a fan of The Simpsons. If that's your thing, that's your thing. And I applaud you for staying true to yourself. But I really am feeling like hot shit at the moment, Malik, being a fan of the DKU and specifically Donkey Kong, because coming out of this not E3 season, this Stinky Ape Summer Game Announcement Week, really, we're one of the few Nintendo subcultures that are pretty content at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not used to that. I know eventually I will have to acclimate to that. But do you know how many years, Malik, we have gone into E3s and whatnot, Nintendo Directs, and expected the bare minimum and not even getting that, and having to just smile and laugh about, oh, well, at least Donkey Kong showed up in that brief clip in that Mario Party compilation that's coming out.
Yeah, I've been around for some of those. I feel the pain. I still remember it.
And now, well, obviously this year isn't as big as the frenzy around last year and the build-up to and release of Donkey Kong Bananza. This year kept the momentum going, I would say a fair bit. At the very least, it kept reminding people that Nintendo's got big plans for Donkey Kong, don't you forget it. And that's really all I need at the moment, and we got it. And not only that, but how weird is it that the inverse of what we're always used to came true, where it's Mario fandom, like the hardcore Mario crowd, who maybe aren't into the Donkey Kong side of things. They had to make do with some Mario ancillary references in a major Donkey Kong game, rather than how we, had to subsist off of Donkey Kong stuff in Mario games. I'm just saying, things are changing. We are in a new unprecedented era right now, and it feels pretty nice.
Yeah, this is the first time in a while, I mean, aside from last year with Bananza and all that, where I'm like, you know what? I feel totally satisfied with what's going on right now. Feels good, man.
Yeah, and we are coming off the string of live conversations. This episode is not live. This is a normal episode, although we are live streaming for our $5 and up patrons. I'll check in on them in a bit, but I am kind of exhausted because this actually felt like a proper E3 for us for the first time in a couple of years. I would say since probably the death of E3, honestly, 7 years ago. The death of in-person E3s, which, let's be honest, that 2021 barely counts as an E3. It followed the usual trajectory of Xbox Showcase on Sunday, Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, and then we even got some big, exciting Playtonic news along the way. And I was working 18 to 20-hour days there for like 3 days in a row. Gosh. And I slept in then Wednesday morning. I slept in for a change, and that was nice. And it's basically been just normal work days, albeit with some added stuff to take care of, loose ends to tie up. And that's what this episode of The Kongversation is. It's me tying up some loose ends from the big game reveal week, or in the case of the other Donkey Kong news we weren't able to touch on the Nintendo Direct episode, the updated alarm clock Donkey Kong news. We're gonna discuss that a little bit, but yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling tired, but I have been powered through Balls energy drinks this entire last week, and so, could be worse, Malik.
Yeah, of course. I was gonna say, what's the catchphrase? It's the ballsiest.
It's the ballsiest, and that's with a W. I'm not being crass. This is the brand name of the beverage. It's been around since the 90s, but it's also the name of the Banjo-Kazooie onion, which has also been around since the 90s.
Yeah, that's what it's a reference to. They know what's up. It's like how DK was partnered with Dr. Pepper. This is just something for Banjo.
I'm going to crack one open right now, take a drink.
That's good.
Goes down smooth.
That sounds great.
They're not a sponsor, by the way. I'm just doing it because I actually use the brand. I actually use the Guarana soda. So,
That's
anyway.
Great.
We have some calls to take on this episode, Malik. These are all the calls we received over the last week. Being live episodes, it didn't really fit the format I devised to play them on their respective episodes. But you can always call into the DK Vine Hotline. It's open 24 hours a day at 1-202-630-VINE. That is 8463. And leave a message, and usually we will play them for the respective episodes after we announce them, but sometimes we save them for a call sack, and that's what we're doing. This is our Stinky Ape Summer 2026 call sack on this edition of The Kongversation.
Woo!
You sound like a Spirit Halloween animatronic there, Malik. It's still a bit early for that.
Yeah.
I really am fortunate that DK Vine hasn't been turned into a Spirit Halloween yet.
How would that work out?
We would shut down and then they would just take our URL.
Oh, okay. That was my first guess.
So before we get into it, though, I do want to address a couple of things. So the Alarmo update that finally added a Donkey Kong Bananza theme, that dropped shortly before Dustin and I wrapped our last live episode, the one on the Nintendo Direct, episode 1419. And I did kind of have to record a quick tag on the end of that episode to address it. But we will be doing a conversation on the Nintendo Alarmo. That's right. We will be doing one. I have to give my opinions on the lore of what is happening there. Of course, Alarmo was already DKU, Malik. Because
Oh wait, how was that? Yeah.
Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had a theme, and in one of the tracks, one of the alarms for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it was the Cloud Top Cruise track. Not only did it have Donkey Kong's picture as the icon for the alarm, but you heard Donkey Kong in the background making grunts and groans. And we count that as an actual appearance of Donkey Kong because it implies the physical presence of Donkey Kong. And then you can hear them. For more on that, see the DKU Tribunal episode on Cameo, Elements of Power, where we decide that Cameo is actually a DKU game because it includes a audio appearance of Banjo.
I like that. I would want an Alarmo for just because he said like you hear DK's grunts and groans. I want to hear one where it's like DK64 themed and it's just like DK going through the barrels in that one bonus and he's just screaming in anguish like, oh,
yeah,
oh.
yeah, the orgasmic grunts of Grant Kirkhope. I think that unfortunately we will not be getting any vintage Donkey Kong themes added to it. Although you never know, things are getting pretty wild with the Donkey Kong IP at the moment. But
yeah,
most of the Alarmo assets are from internally developed EPD Nintendo games, which is why I got an Alarmo a year ago in preparation for Donkey Kong Bananza being added as a theme. Yes, it was DKU already, but I didn't know if I wanted to justify it just based on that one thing. It's $110 USD. I'm not, made of money here, but I got it because I knew eventually, probably, unless a Nintendo abandoned support for it, there would be a Bananza theme being added. And I was right. And I'm very, very pleased now. And there's lots of fun little idle animations. There's appearances from Diddy and a Fractone. It's great.
That's all I need.
So, yeah, Alarmo episode is coming. Before we get to that, we have to do the DK Challenge First Impressions episode. So, I think, given what has fallen into my lap, and given all the episodes we already had in the pipeline, we're going to have 2 episodes a week for a while. So, even though the game reveal season week is behind us, Stinky Ape Summer is continuing until Talk Like a Pirate Day, Malik, September 19th.
Oh, of course.
It lasts all season long, and we acknowledge Talk Like a Pirate Day as the true end of summer. So we've got the Courtney episode for Donkey Kong 64 coming up. Freezer and I are going to revisit Yooka-Laylee now that it's been fixed on the Switch 2. We've got episodes that are just more general, broadly themed. We have some fun things in the works. I don't want to give them all away, but it's going to be an entertaining summer on the Kongversation, so stick with us. Speaking of Stinky Ape Summer, though, our Stinky Ape Summer shirts are now up on our merchandise page at TeePublic at dkvine.com/merchandise. You can get the 2026 Stinky Ape Summer logo on a t-shirt or a tank top or even a hat.
A hat. Oh my goodness. I'm starting to wear hats now that it's hot. So
oh really?
I'll consider it.
You're a hat guy?
Oh yeah, I'm a hat guy.
Okay.
When my hair is nice and maintained, I should say.
Okay. My hair is wild and unruly, and a hat only makes it worse. So I've never been a hat person. But if you are, you can get a Stinky Ape Summer shirt or Stinky Ape Summer hat, shirt, or if you're south of the equator, we do have the well-groomed New World Monkey Winter equivalents for you as well. dkvine.com/merchandise. And hello to our patrons. especially our $5 and up patrons in the live stream. TJ is here, Traveler of the Stars is here, Just Andre, Yoshi of the Stars, Chocolate Milk Drinker, March Rose,
I think it's
S.
Yoshi
Monaco
of Earth,
14.
actually.
What's that?
Yoshi of Earth, not Yoshi of the Stars.
Yoshi of the Stars. Well, Earth and the stars, they are intertwined. It's all one big universe. Hello to Traveler of the Earth and Yoshi of Stars. So anyway, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week, Malik. I'm a little bit fried, but thank you so much to all of our patrons who do make this possible. I would not be able to devote 20 hours a day to DK Vine without you giving me money to do so. So, oh, we've got Maga64. It says, hi, Hyle, Malik, and chat. Longtime reader, few years ago listener, first time patron here from Brazil. Hello.
That's awesome. Hello.
Brazil is home to, I think, some of the most vibrant Donkey Kong and Rare fandom anywhere. It's one of the great discoveries I made, actually connecting with fans around the world, just seeing how popular this is in Brazil. So, and they've kept it alive even after atrophied elsewhere. It was still even in the darkest days of the post-tropical freeze dip, they kept true to the faith down there. So anyway, thank you all. Thank you to our patrons. Become a DK Vine patron at dkvine.com/Patreon. Malik, what's going on with you? What's going on with the Cartoon Gamer and your various editing responsibilities across the greater YouTubes?
Well, let's see. So, still doing quite a bit of editing for other people. Very, very good stuff. Right now, I am working on a video, a big old retrospective on the Poke Rap, and it took me down an insane rabbit hole where, spoiler alert, I went down a Beatles rabbit hole again. So it should make for an interesting video if anyone decides to watch.
You keep getting stuck in the Beatles mythology there, Malik.
I know, this happened twice. First with Star Fox and now with Pokemon. I'm like, I guess this is just... And it technically started with DK with the Kongversation as well, so I just can't escape it no matter where I go.
I'm all about it. I'm all about... I've been so busy, I have not listened to Paul's new album. I've got it here on my desk, but...
Oh, he's got a new one.
yeah, he's still making them. He's still churning them out in his mid-80s.
Good for him.
Yeah,
I thought he was dead, like you said. That theory.
Well, one of them is still making albums. Who knows? But whatever. I'm a fan of both of them. All right. Well, let's get into it then. The Stinky Ape Summer 2026 call sack. Now, like I said, some of these calls came in throughout the week, just errantly whenever things were announced. Some of them came in after I announced this episode. Now, some people didn't even bother calling in because they just interacted with us in the live stream chats when we did the live episodes. We also have a message from Blue Sky because some people, either they're too busy to call the DK Vine hotline at 1-202-630-VINE, or they don't want to hear themselves talk about this stuff on a podcast. So they send a message, which you're free to do. Follow DK Vine on Blue Sky. Actually, let's go ahead and read the Blue Sky comment first. Let's do that now. So this comes from TJ, and it says, "Hello again, DK Vine. Can't record a call to discuss the new announcements, so here's a brief summation of my thoughts. Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. Looks nice. Wanted something more like Diddy Kong Racing, but I'm glad they're aware of the expectations and are trying to innovate. Nintendo Alarmo, parentheses, Bananza theme. A few years ago, I did a Squawktober drawing that featured squawks within the Alarmo to represent a Donkey Kong theme. Awesome that, in a way, this is actually happening." And then finally, the Jakks Pacific DK toys. My favorite bit of news. If you've seen my cubicle, you've seen how I love collecting DK merch. Very happy to see Rambi and Funky getting more merchandise, onward to Dixie, Squawks, and hopefully more plushes in the future. So yeah, I think it's worth considering too why we are feeling good as a fandom coming out of this not E3. And it's not just for the Nintendo Direct. It's not just for Playtonic, if that's what you're into, or if you like expand your horizons to include that. It's also because we got this revelation that Jakks Pacific is about to expand their Donkey Kong line, which, you know, I didn't think we would get much in the way of Donkey Kong merchandise from them until the Donkey Kong movie in 2028. So to get stuff early now based on the games, I mean, I'm surprised.
Yeah, me too. Like, I don't really pay attention too much to what Jakks Pacific is up to, but whenever they do something, I'm like, oh, that's great. That's great.
I think,
Just
again,
keep it going, guys.
Donkey Kong fans are starved for decently priced merchandise that we would have loved to have as kids. And like I said, the last actual line of Donkey Kong figures, beyond what Jakks has already kind of released in the line that they just launched a couple years ago, mostly just reissues from the World of Nintendo line a decade ago. But the last full line of Donkey Kong figures was the Donkey Kong series from 1999. So it's been so long. And of course, here in the West, we've gotten less than they've gotten in Japan as far as a diversity of characters in figures. And they also had all the cartoon stuff in Japan, so you could get a K. Rool figure that way. Whereas we have never had a King K. Rool action figure in the West. You know, I'm not counting the amiibo.
Yeah, and they even had a Bluster Kong, and even as someone who thinks Bluster Kong is absolutely disgusting, I still think that's pretty cool.
You know, I'm getting soft. I'm becoming a little bit of a pushover, and I'm not as passionate in my zealotry on certain positions. I wouldn't even mind if Bluster became canon at this point. Like, granted, there's stuff I want them to do first. Like, let's get
Give
Swanky
him clothes.
back. What?
Give Bluster clothes. That's the big problem I have with him.
Oh, he just has the like cuffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. He looks like a male
So weird.
stripper.
He just looks like he needs pants or something.
Yeah. Of course, Bluster would have to be reinterpreted if he was able to become canon. And again, I don't even know the rights issues. I don't know if, like, Bluster is actually like partially owned by the makers of the cartoon. They probably wouldn't touch it for that reason. I mean, he might have more complicated rights than some of the like rare Diddy Kong Racing characters.
Yeah, who knows until we actually see him get brought back. Who's to say?
You know, Chocolate Milk Drinker says, Hyle, it's pride. Let a gay man have his thing out. Bluster is kind of coded sometimes as maybe queer, but I don't think he actually is, given
He keeps going after Candy.
I mean, he could be a bi man, yes.
That's true.
But given that he's like portrayed as this erudite obstacle to the uncouth Donkey Kong, it's like, who needs a romantic foil in a Donkey Kong Country cartoon? I don't understand why that character even exists, but he has his fans. So I think that at this point, if I saw that Super Mario 40th anniversary collaboration announcement and I didn't go into a white hot rage, I can handle Bluster becoming an actual game character.
When I first saw the Mario thing, during the Direct, I instinctively yet somewhat jokingly went, ew, when I saw the Mario iconography. I was like, get this out of here. But no, it's actually pretty awesome.
Again, it's like how they've handled everything thus far in this new era. It's done very respectfully, and it's not diminishing one for the other.
Totally. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
And TJ asked, would Eddie the Mean Ol' Yeti ever be considered a Kong? I would say so. I would say any primate, any ape or monkey who lives in the same area, the same archipelago as the Kongs. I realize Congo Bongo Island was the location of the cartoon, but like from the perspective of the video games and even the Super Mario Brothers movie, he would be a Kong. They're all Kongs. You're just a Kong. Kong is just what you are.
Yeah, like a dude or something.
That's why DK Vine also argues that Conga and Chimpy from the Banjo-Kazooie games are Kongs because, well, they would have to be, right?
I won't argue. Today.
Just Andre brings up Baboom from Tropical Freeze, also a Kong in my book.
Okay.
Look.
Yeah, sure.
There are Manky Kongs. They're flat out called rejects, but they're still Kongs. So you are a Kong.
What did they do?
If you live in the archipelago and you're an ape or a monkey, it's just what you are. Whether or not you're accepted in the greater like Kong society is another thing, but you're still a Kong.
Yeah, I always like to think when Manky Kongs, they like tried to audition to be a Kong and the Kongs just weren't having it. And that's why they became villains after that.
I have a whole sort like deeper layers of Manky Kong headcanon there, but I won't get into it now. Eventually we should do a bestiary episode on Manky Kong, given how
heck yeah.
Given how so many people are fascinated by just the presence of Mankey. And honestly, yeah, Mankey was one of the more intriguing things from the original Donkey Kong Country game. Like, it's one of those early nuggets of context to the wider universe that I was just like, I want to know more about that.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in another game, just to see what they do with him.
TJ asked, what do we call the little white monkeys from Jungle Beat? Well, they all have different names depending on the source. They're called helper monkeys. They're called party monkeys. We refer to them as capuchins because that's what they seem to be. But I would say they're Kongs as well.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Party Kong.
The little monkeys from Barrel Blast / Jet Race are called Hurleys. God. Hurleys, so we call them Hurley Kongs.
Hurley, I don't know.
It was the late 2000s and Lost was very popular, so...
What, is there a Hurley in Lost?
Yeah, he's one of the major characters in Lost, Hurley. Oh. He's the big guy from Lost. Jorge Garcia plays him. Anyway. Don't get me started on Lost, because we'll be here all day, Malik. Let's go ahead and play our first caller from the DK Vine Hotline. Once again, that's 1-202-630-VINE or 8463.
Alrighty, let's do it.
Hello, DK Vine. This is Chocolate Milk Drinker. I'm going to make this a brief call since it's like 9:40 at night right now, and I'm outside. My phone's at like 7% right now. But I'm calling in for whenever the eventual episode is done on that, what was it called? Super Yooka-Laylee Kart? That was leaked this morning. I'm personally very excited for the game. A lot of my friends, they unfortunately, even though they do love DK a lot, they unfortunately aren't really that much into Playtonic, which is a shame, but I can get why, kind of. But yeah, I really hope this can fill that niche we've been wanting for so long from them for a Diddy Kong Racing spiritual successor. I think it will happen. I am a bit worried it's just going to be regular kart racing or something like that, but I think knowing that these guys can get down, what made Banjo-Kazooie and DK64 so good with Yooka-Laylee, I think they can do it again. I think they can do it with Diddy Kong Racing. I don't get how they couldn't. It would be a shame if this if this is just regular kart racing, not any of the landforms. But I do hope this can be something good. I really do hope this can be that Diddy Kong Racing spiritual successor. I'm not sure if this will ever be in the Kongversation episode. I thought that it was going to be revealed today at State of Play, but it wasn't. Hopefully soon, next few weeks, since the game announced season. Probably Xbox, maybe? I don't know. But, here's the hope that, this will be good. I'm very excited to play this. Bye.
Well, thank you for the call, Chocolate Milk Drinker. That came in after the leak that Super Yooka-Laylee Kart was coming, but before the official announcement. So, you could tell because Chocolate Milk Drinker clearly didn't know exactly what this game was going to be yet. And now we kind of have a better idea. And in fact, now we have an even better idea than we did when Cameron and I did the live episode on Playtonic this year. So, Malik, have you been keeping up with Super Yooka-Laylee Kart at all?
Yes, I actually listened to the episode that you and Cameron did, and yeah, I was a little like you guys. I was a little not as crazy into it, but after some time has gone by, I'm a little more into it now, and I'm gonna keep my eye on it.
Yeah, so I'm sure this will be coming up from other callers, so I don't know how deep in the weeds I should get now for Super Yooka-Laylee Kart and everything we learned on Thursday when Playtonic did a live stream with their founder and head of the studio, Gavin Price, where we learned quite a bit more about why Super Yooka-Laylee Kart exists in the form that it does and kind of their grand ambitions for the game. And, I'm still cautiously optimistic about it, but I'm also kind of placated a little bit as far as it not being the Diddy Kong Racing spiritual successor that I think everybody was hoping for over the last 11 years or so. Now, I still very much want a Diddy Kong Racing spiritual successor, and I don't think this will necessarily fill that hole in my heart, but I can be excited for this on its own terms, on its own merits. And basically, we learned that a lot of people, they addressed it on the live stream. They addressed that it was not a Diddy Kong Racing type game, or at least not a visually Diddy Kong Racing type game. And they said, well, Diddy Kong Racing is actually inspiring this. It's Super Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, and Super Smash Brothers that are the three major influences kind of going into this, the three ingredients in this stew that they're making. And that they actually wanted to make a kart racing game as their first game, but then Grant Kirkhope talked them out of it and really pushed that they should do a 3D platformer because this was right in the thick of the Banjo-Kazooie nostalgia revival and people really wanting a new Banjo-Kazooie game. And I mean, it was probably the right call, right? Like I said,
yeah.
If you're going to make a rare type game, a throwback in the 2010s, Banjo-Kazooie was the way to go. But Playtonic's always wanted to do this kart racer, and they're talking a little bit about wanting the visual style to actually be different from the past 3 Yooka-Laylee games because they just didn't want it to just look like the same game, but in karts this time. And they also wanted to basically have something that has a lot more variety and action than even the Diddy Kong Racing format would allow. I think the way they phrased it was Diddy Kong Racing had a lot of downtime and it got very repetitive in its structure, and they wanted to try to do something that's a little bit more robust and What really grabbed me, though, was when they said that the game they're looking to for this is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, the same way that kind of innovated upon the Donkey Kong Country style platformer. They really want this to do the same for your stock mascot kart racer. So, like, hearing all that and seeing it in action a little bit, I feel, like I said, cautiously optimistic about it. It's still not exactly what I would want, but like I said, I think I can maybe get on its wavelength a little bit more now.
Yeah, same here. I mean, anything that is compared to the Impossible Lair is always good in my book, because we all know that game's fantastic, so we'll see.
Yeah, they even said that there will be tracks from Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair. Cameron and I were debating whether one of the screenshots was that or not, but it seems like the answer is yes, or even if we were mistaken, the answer is still yes somewhere in the game, and that there might even be an Impossible Lair track that's just like an impossible track to complete. So,
like, you start the race and the game just breaks.
Well, no, it's like it's not impossible clearly, but it's billed as an impossible track to actually get to the finish line for. So, I don't know how that would work, but that's interesting all the same. Like, so some of these were just spitballing. It wasn't actually like this is what is in the cards, but yeah, like I'm actually looking forward to this now in a way that the initial leak kind of put me off of what this was going to be. This seems like, okay, I'm interested now.
Yeah, it's nice when someone can actually, unveil their game properly without having the proper context surrounding it and things like that, even if Playtonic did it themselves. But yeah, it's always nice to have the full story from the start.
I don't think Playtonic's inadvertent leak hurt them as much as the leak about the Ocarina of Time remake hurt that announcement.
Yeah, I don't think so, but...
Yeah. Man, people don't seem to like that. At least in my circles.
Huh. That's weird. I don't have circles, so... Because I'm a square.
Well, yeah, here in Roundville, we've just been hearing things about how terrible Link's redesign looks, and I don't know. I think people are just deflated because they already sort of knew this was coming once the Star Fox remake was confirmed, and then it was Nintendo's last big announcement for the Direct, so it was very deflating.
That is unfortunate for them. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and play our second caller. Thank you for the call, Chocolate Milk Drinker. This one's actually a 2-part call, Malik. So
Okay.
we're gonna just. I mean, it's all put together in one audio file for your convenience, but it is a 2-part call. So sit back, have a nice beverage, kick up your feet, and here we go.
Okay, let's do it.
Hey, this is Nephora from Blue Sky, and calling in about Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. So I first heard about this game being leaked when DK Vine did their Blue Sky post promoting the article about it being leaked, and I thought to myself, I might as well just wait until Playtonic officially announces it, since, not E3 season's right around the corner anyway. It'll probably be like within a week or two. And so I waited, and then Playtonic just recently officially showed it off, and at first, I didn't really like how it looked. It seemed like it was based on my 2 least favorite Mario Kart games. And the tracks, I'm glad that they're based on the Yooka-Laylee series, like the Tribal Stack Tropics world and little like swamp level. But I wish like the tracks had more like things you could interact with on the actual track, because it's mostly just like the backgrounds. I wish there was more like involvement with the actual tracks and the theming. Later on, I saw that Gavin Price did an interview with Game Explain, and after watching that, I started feeling a lot better about the game. They said that there's going to be like a story mode, and I don't know how well a story mode would really work with the tracks that they have. I'm hoping that they have like like a separate like hub overworld kind of area. I think they need to have, if they're going to do a story mode, there needs to be like separate like specialized tracks that are just meant for story mode. And also I think he mentioned like there's going to be like little side missions or like little things you can do. I think he mentioned like with Trouser, there's going to be like you have to throw like coins at other people or something. But those kind of missions, it reminded me of Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. There was like a candies challenges, or I think it was called something like that. And those were some fun little like side things, like spanked 20 zingers in like less than 20 seconds or something, or try to help wrinkly. Hey, this is Nefora. I'm just continuing my call about Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. So anyway, I took a look at some of the other indie kart racers that were released somewhat recently, like within a few years, and I think Yooka-Laylee Kart, I'm just going to call it Yuka Kart, I think it actually looks a lot better than most of the other like indie kart racers. And I'm not trying to like, shame those developers or put their games down, but I really do. I think Yuka Kart it looks pretty good compared to the other kart racers that are out there, other than the big publisher ones like Mario Kart or that one Sonic racing game. And also in the interview with Gavin Price, he mentioned Kartos potentially being a character, and I think that would be so cool if Kartos was in this game, especially if there could be like a separate little side racing mode with just for Kartos, something involving him. That would just be so cool, and especially if he's his own like playable character. If you can just drive as him instead of using a cart, that would be so awesome. And also about the release date, they haven't published a release date yet, but I'm hoping that it releases in 2027. And I'm not sure how long it would take. I hope it wouldn't be 2028, but that's a possibility. I felt like at the time when Laylee was released until it actually, or no, at the time Laylee was announced to when it was released, it felt like a long time. I think it was over a year or so. Maybe I'm just impatient, but I really didn't like waiting that long. I'm hoping this one doesn't take as long. But overall, I'm excited for the game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I do plan on purchasing it.
Well, thank you so much for the calls. So two things I feel like I can address from what you brought up, and that involves the story mode, and that involves the, I guess, characters in Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. So this all comes from the live stream yesterday where we found out quite a bit, and I was like furiously transcribing as they went, trying to compile my article for it to publish it right after it ended. But Yeah, they really apparently want a robust story mode for Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. And this is something that I think, just like the Impossible Layer comparison, calmed me down a little bit. Hearing this also calmed me down, because even if this isn't going to be one-to-one building on Diddy Kong Racing, it's still very much giving me what I like and what initially pulled me into Diddy Kong Racing as well. They specifically talked about they didn't just want the Mario Kart style select everything from a menu without any further context. I mean, even Mario Kart World, with its interconnected tracks on a big island, it's still like put everything behind a menu except free roam. And so here, like, they talked about the Diddy Kong Racing hub world and how there will at the very least be some sort of map for Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. Like, I don't know how you would do a hub world in the context of this game, but they do want to have narrative threads that tie everything together and to make you feel like you're going on an adventure that just so happens to involve kart racing. So, cautiously optimistic, like I said, but that's saying all the right things to at least please the weirdos who are hypercritical about Mario Kart not having enough lore.
I do like a good story in a kart racer. It does wonders for it. It worked for Diddy Kong Racing. It worked for Crash Team Racing. It doesn't even have to be anything too crazy or deep. Just give me... I like having a reason to do something in a game.
Yes.
As silly and as duct taped together as it may be, if you show me you care enough to, like, give it some sort of, like, theme or, like, yeah, then I'm all for it.
You know DK Vine's take. It's everything is canon. You know, so many people get so, like, hung up on what is and what isn't canon. And our take is, did it come out? Then it's canon. And so, I mean, I view the Nintendo alarm mode to be canon. So
it's canon to real life.
No, I mean, Donkey Kong and Pauline and Diddy and Fracto, they're all on there. You can hear the elders and the alarms. It's canon, Malik. So when a studio meets us halfway and says, yes, and here is how it relates to the other games, I really, really love that. And they alluded to some undefined story that will revolve around Capital B and Dr. Quack. Like, there won't be a new villain a la Wizpig coming into this that we know of, but at the very least, it will sit in the timeline, the very messy, convoluted timeline of the past 3 Yooka-Laylee games. And speaking on characters, they said that Steve Mails has illustrated up to 30 characters in karts for this game. And the ones that we've seen, the 8 that we've seen at launch, of course, we already kind of knew this, but they're not going to be the only characters in the game. There will be others. There will be unlockables. They might be adding characters later on. And that includes both pre-existing Yooka-Laylee and Platonic characters. That includes new characters that are debuting for this game that might appear in later games. And that it might even include guest characters from Platonic Friends titles, or even other studios that have had no involvement with Platonic. So
that should be interesting. I hope Shovel Knight's in the game.
Well, I think
basically
Shovel Knight's the most obvious one, you know, that everybody goes to because he was in Yooka-Laylee and Yooka-Laylee. I mean, personally, and I doubt they could make this happen, but I would love if they could make a deal with Rare and get Banjo or Kazooie or both in the game. It would just be nice to see them in another kart racer. It would just be nice to see them, period. But, you know, it would also be fun to have them in a Yooka-Laylee game in that capacity.
It would all come full circle in a sense.
I would love it, but I don't know if Rare would go for it, sadly.
Oh, come on, Rare. Come on. Be cool. Don't be a square like me. Come to Roundville.
So, yeah, thank you for the calls. And I think people are going to keep bringing up Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. So I have some more stuff that we learned about it the other day. So I'll try to space it out as best I can. But let's go ahead and play our third call.
Hey, this is Crawlnex. I'm calling in to talk about the Town Direct and specifically the fact that there's a game here that's like, it's like reutilizing stuff from the past. It's like remaking it into a new context. Of course, I'm talking about DK Challenge. There's no other old games that were made anyway in that Direct. But this is interesting, and I think in a way kind of like anti-synergistic because we just got DK64 and NSO, but it's not part of this challenge it seems. It seems like it's Bananza if you own that, and also just stuff for like the Super Nintendo, NES, and Game Boy. I assume that's because they don't want to limit this just to expansion pack people, but they don't want to give you access to like any of Donkey Kong 64 if you don't have the expansion pack. So a little bit of a loss there, but I do like that there's this topical stuff happening for Donkey Kong. But I think that's about it. I assume that, Hal, you're going to be like the only person on the planet that has all of these cards. Good luck on that.
Well, thank you for the call. I'm not. I haven't gotten them all yet, but other people have. People in our inner circle have already gotten them all. And I'm kind of dragging my feet because those last two look to be migraine-inducing.
Yeah, I don't need that. I saw him like, oh Lord, why are you going to make me do that? It was hard enough already with in the base game.
Yeah, like I've cleared all the classic challenges already, which the one I was really worried about, the one I was dreading was the Donkey Kong 3 one, because I'm not good at Donkey Kong 3, and I'm just like, you're going to make me control Stanley the Bugman, spraying Donkey Kong's crotch. I don't really know how to play this game, and Malik, I don't even know how I cleared it, but I cleared it within like 10 seconds.
Oh wow!
I was like,
I have a chance.
I was shifting because I had sat in a way that I like twisted my pants and my underpants were bunching up, and so I was like trying to readjust, as one does, and I was only giving it half of my attention, and then before I knew it, I cleared the Donkey Kong 3 challenge. Cool.
That's great, man. I don't know maybe it was the underwear. You were wearing lucky underwear?
Yeah, so maybe I need to try that for the boss rush and final rehearsal challenges.
Couldn't hurt.
Oh, God. But yeah, I will get them all before September 1st. I will make it my mission. It's been a busy week trying to handle all the FOMO stuff because, of course, it was also the week of the Kong Bananza Returns Emerald Rush event in Bananza. Got to get that Tiki Goon. Got to get that Tiki Tong statue. So there was that, and then it was like, now I need to like pay attention to all the Mario stuff in Emerald Rush. However peripheral, however tertiary to the like long-lasting ramifications of the game it is, I still want to experience it while it is here. And we still don't even know if the next 3 waves of it are going to bring different stuff to the experience, or if it's just going to repeat this.
Yeah, but I just did the rush before we started recording, and oh man, I spent at least like 3 hours in total just trying to beat that thing, but I did it.
Oh, good job.
Felt pretty good, yeah.
Good job, yeah. I'm a little bit apprehensive. I'm glad it didn't make you replay the story-based stuff. Like, if you've already done that, you just log into Bananza, and then you go back, and it just clears it for you.
Oh, wait, this isn't I didn't do no DK challenge. I'm sorry. I just meant the Mario Emerald Rush. No, I'm not that good. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. No, you're good.
Rescind your good job.
You're plenty good, Malik. But yeah, so I'll get those. What I'm really hoping, though, is that even when the infrastructure of DK Challenge goes away on September 1st, we can still view our cards. Like, I know you can take screenshots of them all, but I still would like them attached to my NSO account somehow to show like I did it, even if the broader framing of the DK challenge is gone. I still want some remnant that DK challenge existed at all.
Yeah, we need some sort of proof that we had a good Stinky Ape summer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've added DK Challenge to the games page of DK Vine, Malik, because Nintendo made a social media post where they included it in the games that were announced. And I was like, well, I guess it's a game then. But
It's canon.
I've already figured out how it's canon, Malik. I've already figured out what the context for all of this is.
Whacked out drug trip?
No, it's not it's never a whacked out drug trip. No matter how many times people tried to argue it's a whacked out drug trip, that is never the explanation for how something is happening in the chronology. But no, I figured it out. I'll save it for the first impressions episode, but it's pretty basic, my explanation, but it ties into things we have learned about Donkey Kong's world in the past and how this could be possible. It's, you'll be disappointed by it, but fear not, for I have already reconciled what is happening and how it's lore.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Chocolate Milk Drinker says, I wish it was able to give us a way to replay the Voidco fight. Still zero way to refight Poppy and Grumpy, and that's a bummer. I mean, you can always just walk up to them wherever they're standing in game in your beaten save file and just slap them a bunch of times.
That's almost just as good.
I did go to some other layers sans Emerald Rush last night because I just wanted to be like extra sure you couldn't buy the Mario and Luigi clothing that Void puts you in the Emerald Rushes, because there is the disc you can buy that has the new arrangement of the like Mario and Donkey Kong hybrid themes. You can buy that from Squawks on DK Island for $9.99 Banandium chips. And
it's nice we can actually use the chips again for something.
Yeah, right. I've been hoarding them. Like I've got so many, but so I was like, well, is the clothing in here somewhere? Maybe I need to go talk to like the Fractones in the style shops in the deeper layers. But no, nothing. But anyway, I did approach Poppy and Grumpy and I just started slapping them yesterday.
I love those two so much.
Yeah, they're really great additions. Void too.
He's
really,
good too. Yeah,
really happy that they're all part of the cast now, and hopefully we'll see them in a not too distant future.
Mm-hmm. Here's hoping.
All right, let's go ahead and play our fourth caller.
All righty.
Hey, Hyle. It's Jeff Onan. First time, long time. Listen, this is sort of the not E3 season. We're all excited about news, about video game reveals. That always gets me thinking about how my dad was in the air on 9/11. The excitement and spectacle of news is not just the news itself, but it's also your context, your personal situation with it. So, I've had some really interesting contacts with DKU video game reveals. Donkey Kong Country Returns, I invited some friends over to watch that E3 show on G4 TV in my house, and they were not Nintendo fans or Donkey Kong fans. They didn't even know that I was. So when I started flipping out, they were confused. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, I watched that whole E3 on a shoddy mobile phone connection on a road trip with my parents down to Florida. It was like 1 frames per second video, and I just saw, there's a new Donkey Kong game. Oh, Dixie Kong's in it. Oh, and penguins? Penguins. Okay. Well, what else? Donkey Kong Bananza. I couldn't watch the show while it was happening, so I called Mitchell Wolf, and he, over the phone, described it to me with his bad memory. He's a bad man. And, of course, as you know, I saw the Banjo-Kazooie and Smash reveal live with my boys at an illegal Airbnb. So I just was wondering with you guys on the show, if you have any interesting stories about the way you experienced DKU news, if that made the story something special, or 9/11. Let me know what you think.
Jeff, I got that phone call from Jeff at like 5:30 in the morning the other day. And the way the hotline is arranged, Malik, I will know when somebody's calling the hotline, except if it's somebody who is actually in my phone's contact list, because then my notifications can't discern the difference between the two, and it'll just say I missed a call from Jeff at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, is Jeff okay? Does Jeff need me? Wait, why would Jeff need me? He lives several states away. I cannot help him in any possible way. I cannot help Jeff right now if he's in dire straits, if his car broke down, if he's being abducted. Why is Jeff calling me? And then I realized, oh, Jeff must be doing a bit calling the DK Vine hotline. But then I listened to it and I realized it's not actually a bit. He's actually asking a sincere question.
Yeah, not a bit, pure, just legit.
Just so, Malik, that's a kind of question I like because it gets me nostalgic and it gets me thinking about what I really love or loved about E3 as a concept and why I still try to keep that flame alive with Stinky Ape Summer, ignoring Jeff Keighley's wants and vulgarities. So, what about you? Like, what are some of your precious memories?
So just like with reveals and stuff?
Yeah!
DKU stuff?
Yeah!
I think I can think of a few. Well, for returns, I remember that was like the first time I really tuned into E3, and I watched it on Game Trailers TV on Spike TV at like 12:30 in the morning. Reggie talked about how they had a bunch of video games coming out and they showed returns for a split second, and I was like, what am I looking at? Oh my gosh, what is this? And then we saw the trailer the next day, and then we were just waiting for it for like months and months on end. Tropical Freeze, I remember that came at a very what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it was a big time for me at that point in time, and just like I was about to finish high school, I believe, or I was in the last year of high school.
Yeah.
And I was going to do a 5th year, but I just remember just watching the trailers over and over again, because that was the first time I did like live reactions on my YouTube channel. So yeah, don't look it up because it's terrible, but that was the first memory I remember of doing that with me and my brother, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I just remember watching the Tropical Freeze trailer a lot in like the final days of regular high school for me, like pre-graduation, just in the computer lab, and I was like, oh man, I cannot wait for this thing. This is going to be great. But that is a vivid memory when it comes to DKU's trailers and stuff.
Yeah. So I've already shared some of this on the E3 2001 and 2004 conversations that we did several years back. I did those with Cameron. So I'm not going to talk about Donkey Kong Racing. I'm not going to talk about any of those reveals. I will talk about Donkey Kong Country Returns. It was 2010. And I mean, this is probably because before Donkey Kong Country Returns, before I was really pulled back into this world on a permanent basis, the game reveals, like in a everybody's online world, I would find out through Nintendo Power, like weeks, if not a month after the fact. It's like, ooh, the E3 issue. Let's see what happened at E3. Oh my god, Donkey Kong Country 3, Donkey Kong Land 2, and you know, then you got online and things became a little bit more instantaneous for you. It wasn't necessarily still tied to E3 though, like Donkey Kong 64 was revealed on New Year's 1999. If you went to the Nintendo website and then Rareware, and so there still wasn't like much pageantry behind it. And then E3 kind of built up from there, and like I said, 2001 and 2004 is another memorable one. But then we entered kind of the darker days of the buyout era, and people started drifting away from this. DK Vine was on the verge of shuttering. And then it was E3 2010, where rumors, I think it was like IGN, they were being very, very open about what they were hearing, like in Los Angeles after they arrived, and just started like spreading the gossip that Retro was doing Donkey Kong. And Retro Studios doing Donkey Kong had been like one of the dreams that we had like posited during the buyout era. It was like, oh, could you imagine if Retro Studios would do a Donkey Kong? That would probably be a good fit. And people started spreading this around. Somebody messaged me on AOL Instant Messenger because it was 2010. And I miss Instant Messenger, by the way. It was a great, great service, and I stand by that. But somebody messaged me, I forget who, but they said, there's a rumor that a new Donkey Kong game is going to be shown on Tuesday. So I went to the forum and quickly just fell into the hype. And it was like the years were rolling away. It was like all the angst and depression of my mid-20s burnout, my crash out that most people have in their mid-20s. It was like melting away, and I was feeling things that I hadn't felt for a long time, and it was just so much fun hanging out, talking with people, speculating what this could be, getting our hopes up, yes, but also kind of rediscovering my passion for all of this across a couple of days. And then that Tuesday morning, like full of anxiety, but also hope, I went on my first E3 bear hike and I saw a bear, and it was just one of those magical moments. And I came back, I drove back down the mountain, drove back to my home, got online in time for the Nintendo Direct, and Reggie gave his now legendary intro, and there it was. And, you know, for everything that's been said and everything that will be said about Donkey Kong Country Returns, I can't think of a bigger moment in my fandom than that. Even Bananza, to an extent, can't match that magnitude of a kind of a turning point in my life.
I feel the same way in a lot of aspects where, like, that it's beautiful. I love hearing that story and just how the bear hike and it's all connected. But yeah, I feel the special connection with Returns in that same way, where it kind of jump-started a lot of things for me in terms of like my online career. Like, what was it? I made my first YouTube comment on a Returns video. Like that's what got me to make a YouTube account. And yeah, so then amongst many, many other things, the first thing I saw from DK Vine was that dude who's very crass, and he was talking about the enemies. He was like, what are these? These are like piranha plants, and these things are horrifying. And you know, there's a lot of curse words in there that I'm not going to repeat, but you know the guy, right?
Jeremy, right?
Yeah, Jeremy. That was the first DK Vine video, anything I ever saw from you guys, and for some reason, I stuck around.
It's so weird, that little era of DK Vine when like Chad and I were basically disengaged with the site, but Jeremy, who we knew from the TV station that Chad worked for, and then we launched our little college TV show on that eventually, won an Emmy. But
congratulations,
Jeremy was in that network with his own shows, and then he came to DK Vine for a bit. Just like I said, your mid-20s, they're an odd time because you're driftless. You're drifting. You're aimless. And you don't know what to do with your life. And I think we were all feeling that at the time. And I didn't think DK Vine could be a career. I didn't think that was a possibility still. But yeah, Jeremy was keeping the lights on for a while, making videos, and it's not often talked about, that little mini era of the site. But yeah, it's It's funny, like, Traveler of the Stars, big Returns fan, is in the live stream chat right now and said it's kind of funny how Returns saved DK Vine. I mean, it definitely did. It without question, DK Vine would not have been around in 6 months had Returns not just shot lightning through our veins. And then Tropical Freeze 3 years later, that was a little bit more low key in that I don't think we were really expecting anything. And I think we were starting to feel like maybe Returns was a one-off and maybe we were just going to drift into this irrelevant kind of no man's land again. And I mean, this was a few months into the Kongversation. We had just launched that, but it was kind of like, I don't know if Retro is really going to do another Donkey Kong. And then there it was. And I was so groggy during that direct that I really didn't even know what was happening. I talk about my trailer blindness whenever I watch something and I can't quite process it because it's too overwhelming. It's too exhilarating. It's something I really, really am into and therefore I can't process the finer details straight away. So I just remember Donkey Kong jumping on Jello and like I was like, Vikings? What? And then Dixie Kong and yeah. And then that was made even more weird because we were going to Bonnaroo later that week and it wasn't even a traditional E3 cycle for us because we had to sort of pull up stakes and go to this music festival in the countryside where Paul McCartney was going to perform.
Bonnaroo Bananza.
Yeah. Yeah, just Andre points out that one of my takes when I first saw that trailer was, did Donkey Kong just jump out of a spaceship?
The first thing I said was, is that Jungle Hijinks music? It's documented.
Yeah, I could not hear it coming. I don't know why. I was just lost. I was like, wait, is this a Wii U game? Like, what am I seeing now?
When they showed the subtitle Tropical Freeze, my brother didn't see the tropical and he just said, freeze? Like, some part of me wishes that it was just called that.
I didn't even get the pun until later in the day.
I didn't get it for like months.
Okay. But yeah, and then E3 2015 on, my perspective's a little bit different because I was there in person for most of those reveals. So, you know, Sea of Thieves was a big, like Rare Replay and Sea of Thieves, that was another big turning point. And then we had the Banjo-Kazooie reveal for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that Jeff talked about. That one was like, what a way to go out E3, right? Like,
oh yeah,
all of us sitting on the couch in our illegal Airbnb because they did not actually have a permit to run a Airbnb out of that apartment. It was a nice apartment though, but
nice schmice, it's illegal.
I mean, it was nice for Los Angeles. They had a lot of commodities that LA apartments traditionally don't have, and spacious, and we had enough room to live and work for a week. But we were all on the couch, we were all watching the reveal, and we kind of knew it was coming, but it was still exciting to see all the same because we didn't know what it would entail. And yeah,
that's still my favorite reaction to the whole Banjo thing, just seeing all you guys on the couch. I think when the Jiggy bounced up on the screen, Jeff, he did like a motion akin to like a Kong slapping the ground where it's like it's like, that's excitement, pure excitement right there. Somebody did.
Yeah, for me, I'm so glad we have that little time capsule, and then you have your time capsule with your brother.
Yeah, that was so much fun too. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's why I like to keep the spirit alive. That's why when E3 collapsed with the pandemic, it was just like, well, we've got to do something. We're not just going to sit around and not have an E3.
Yeah, we'll call it not E3.
Traveler says, I'm still sad we didn't get Hyle's Bananza reaction, both reveal and finale. Yeah, well.
An 16-hour podcast we'll have to do on the final.
Yeah.
That's a good reaction.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I'm not the kind of guy who just wants to turn a camera on myself, and I don't know, it's so self-indulgent. I think that there are ways to do it where it's not self-indulgent, and like I said, it's fun when you have that time capsule, but I feel weird about it just by myself. I don't know.
I understand that, but yeah, no, a part of me does wish that you did, but I know how you feel. We all feel, a lot of us feel the same way. We had like that feeling in just radiating throughout our bodies, and it was fantastic. It was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not dreaming. This is real. I'm gonna cry. I might die if I play this. It's like, now this music is playing and this is happening. I could die tomorrow. And then it's like, that's all right. That's all right.
The Bananza reveal, and I feel like it's still too early to really talk about it in some grand reminiscing, but that one was a wild, talk about work weeks, talk about working 18 to 20 hour days, talk about having this thing get announced when you're not really expecting it to be announced, because following the DK EPD story for as long as we did, I would have not guessed it's going to be revealed with the Switch 2 unveiling. Like, it's never been a case for Donkey Kong, right? Donkey Kong's always come a little bit later in a system, or it's never been one of the main attractions. And so even knowing that EPD was doing Donkey Kong, I don't think we were expecting it to be the one more thing in the Switch 2 Direct. And when I saw those prospector monkeys, I started cackling. Just absolute lost my shit. It was a catharsis, but it was also just, I can't believe this is happening. This feels surreal. And then seeing the trailer play out, and you're starting to think, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Is this real life?
No. What is this? As in, I don't see any recognizable iconography. Donkey Kong's got a blob as a sidekick.
It ran the gamut of emotions.
Yeah, and I'm like, is this just a complete reinvention yet again? And then over the next few days, realizing that, no, there's stuff in there. And then over the next couple of weeks, realizing, oh, they're going deep with this. And then the game, well, the Bananza Direct, and then having to contend with all the Nintendo doesn't care about Donkey Kong lore people, and then the game actually coming out, and then me sort of going dark as far as communicating with the broader community, still doing DK Vine stuff on a daily basis, but going spoiler free, and then just spending a couple of months playing Bananza until I get to the reveal and the end game. And I mean, what a wild journey that was.
That's one for the books.
All right, we need to move on, Malik. Thank you for the thoughtful call, Jeff. Yeah, I was in school when 9/11 happened.
So was I.
I was sent to the library because my teacher turned it off, because they're like, all right, well, nothing more is going to happen. This is after the second plane hit the tower and it had been burning for a while. And my teacher said, nothing more is going to happen. It's just they're going to put out the fire. And then she sent me to the library to get a book or something for the class. And then I was in the library and I saw that the one tower had collapsed, and I had to come back to the classroom and tell them. Yeah, I'm not as nostalgic for that day as I am a couple of months before that, when Donkey Kong Racing was announced.
Yeah, that was a little better. I just wish that came out. Or maybe they should.
Yeah, why didn't 9/11 get into development hell? Why did we have to get that one?
I know, right? Why why couldn't have they could have swapped and I would have been totally fine.
Yeah. I want to make a few more tasteless jokes, but we should probably move on.
Okay.
Call number 5.
Call number 5.
Hey, DK Vine, it's Ray Day Pinball calling about Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. I don't know, I want to get my thoughts on it. I obviously would have preferred the look of a Diddy Kong Racing. I think just the ukulele games looked great the way they were. You know, full 3D, not trying to do anything cute with sprites or anything and all that. So I don't know why they went down that route. But I am interested and very happy to hear that it seems like it will be a more skill-based racing style game like Diddy Kong Racing. I think that's really cool. I think we haven't had a kart racer that really lets you kind of choose your items like Diddy Kong Racing did, or take advantage of zippers like Diddy Kong Racing did. And it seems like this is going to have all of that. It's going to have ways to power up your items or get specific ones, and different sort of boosts and things. So I'm really looking forward to that. I do wish it, like I said, I don't know why they went with the weird Super Mario Kart look to it. But if it plays like Diddy Kong Racing, I'm all for it. And I'm excited. I also, is anyone else kind of annoyed at the whole, they tease it, but they don't give a reveal date, and then they'd like show gameplay and tease things more and more with still no actual reveal date. They did that for like Yooka-Laylee too, and I got annoyed because I kept seeing all the things being like, we're going to show a little bit more of the game now, you know, and I'm like, but you still haven't said when it comes out. Like, I just want to know when I can expect it, and when to play it. And I don't really want to watch any previews or anything. I just want to go into it and play it. So, yeah, I'm super excited. Just wish it would, come out already. All right. See ya.
Well, thank you for the call, Ray Day Pinball. Ray Day, this is beside the point, but I really want to know what you think about Galactic Pinball. So if you do get a Virtual Boy accessory for the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2 family of systems, please play Galactic Pinball, because you, a pinball champion, I would really like to hear your feedback on what you think of Galactic Pinball, which is my favorite pinball ever on any platform. But I've always wanted to know what you think of that game. So anyway, yeah, Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. So talking more about the graphical style, I said, like, Gavin Price said they wanted it to look different from the past ukulele games. And I think one reason for that is because so many people thought that Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair was just DLC or some sort of expansion on Yooka-Laylee, because it did look visually similar for those who were only half paying attention. And so with this, you clearly know this is a separate game. And I'm wondering if that went into their considerations. Like, we need a unique art style, maybe, for other games, because we can't repeat the mistakes of Yooka-Laylee Impossible Lair. Brilliant game, criminally overlooked, and marketed like shit, and just died on the vine because not enough people gave it a shot.
Vine.
Not this vine. We tried
it
to give it
thrives on this vine.
We tried to give it as much life here at DK Vine, but our reach only goes so far, and I think our audience was already primed and ready for it. It was just the broader gaming public who didn't care at that moment in time. So I do understand, like, I would have loved a really lush looking kart racer, you know, in the style of Rare and their graphical visual flourishes. But again, I'm open-minded about this. I still really think this HD 2D style, is that the term that's being bandied about these days?
I think I'm going to say yes.
It's funny because I never heard that term before until Super Yooka-Laylee Kart, and now I'm hearing it everywhere. And it's like, it's like when you like get a car and then you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere because you're just ready to notice it.
Yeah, now you understand how things work a little bit better, I guess.
I think it looks good for what it is, and it's a better filter or shader than the tonics in the ukulele games to create like different visual effects, throwback effects. Like I think it looks more polished than that does. So yeah, like I don't really have any qualms about it. But as far as the release date goes, so this is another interesting thing that we learned from the stream on Thursday. They're, of course, having open betas for Super Yooka-Laylee Kart, and they're going to be focusing on different areas of the game, different disciplines of gameplay in each open beta, but they really want to get the fans' feedback on this before they launch it. I think they really want to avoid some of the problems maybe past releases of theirs have fallen into, where they release something a little bit underwhelming. They really want this to be finely honed. And so I think part of the reason they don't want to announce a release date, or they've announced it when they did, is because we're going to be entering this beta testing period where we can all try out the game and give our feedback. So I think that's part of the reason. So you will get to play it potentially. You just won't get to play the actual final thing.
I'd be willing to give it a shot.
My only concern is my computer sometimes has trouble handling Steam, and I don't have a
Steam.
Yeah, it does exude Steam whenever I try to run Steam, and I don't have a Steam Deck, and I probably never will, at least for the foreseeable future, given the cost of the Steam Deck now.
Well, I can't help you there. I wish I had something to say about that, but I guess you're just out of luck there, buddy.
It's just the cost of technology is rising across the board for various factors, none of them good. And I would have gotten a Steam Deck last year if it wasn't for the fucking Switch 2 and another damn Donkey Kong game.
I know, right? Sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. Traveler of the Stars is being snarky in the live stream and says, "Well, I can't believe no one has called about all the Xbox showings yet."
I'm acting astonished.
Like I said, that episode we did on the Xbox, I don't know how we were able to turn one out that was 67 minutes long.
I listened to the whole thing and it was still pretty good.
Yeah, that's just because I was coked up on balls. I was balls to the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. You were in the ballsiest mood.
Anyway, Ray J Pinball, pick up a Virtual Boy headset, play Galactic Pinball, get back to me. All right, let's play our sixth caller.
Hi, this is Tofu calling about all the summer stuff. The most exciting thing for me this year was Deltarune, but sadly Donkey Kong is not in that. Banjo and Kazooie are not in that, but you do collect the secret ice key in that game, so that's something. Speaking of Banjo-Kazooie, they were not at the Xbox showcase, but I wasn't expecting them to be. I mean, obviously, they're too busy getting ready for their Super Pocket Rare Edition release, so duh. Of course they're not going to be there. Another thing that didn't happen was Mario Kart World DLC. The game's been out for a year. I thought this would be the perfect time to finally add Diddy, Dixie, Funky, K-Rool, and another costume for DK and Pauline, but nope, still nothing, so that was a little disappointing, but I'm here to talk about another karting game. So, like most people, I was a little bummed to see that Super Yooka-Laylee Kart is not really the Diddy Kong Racing successor we were hoping for, but the confirmation of a story mode is a bit reassuring, so I'm still looking forward to it. My only realistic hope is that Rextro is playable, because I really like that guy. And I'm sure he will be. I think you're right in that this whole game might be one of Rextro's games, and maybe you unlock him at the end of the story mode. But anyway, my unrealistic hope, in the interview with Gavin Price, he said they were very much considering reaching out to other developers to, and I quote, beg for guest characters. And I think the obvious pick is Shovel Knight, since he was in Yooka-Laylee. But my mind immediately goes to, and this may be crazy, But what if Banjo and Kazooie were guest characters? I know a lot of people want Rare to outsource the IP to Playtonic and just let them make a Banjo-Kazooie game. I think that idea is more complicated than most people think, and frankly, I just don't think it would ever happen. But Rare just letting Banjo and Kazooie be guest characters in a silly racing game, that feels more possible to me and feels like a nice compromise, and I, of course, would be very happy to see them here. So how would you guys feel about that? Would you want it? Do you think it's possible? Am I crazy? Probably, because if Rare's going to let anyone be a guest character, it's obviously going to be Royston. That's why he's not Dr. Puzz's helmet. Anyway, that's all for me. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you for the call, Tofu. Yeah, I agree. Banjo and Kazooie should be on Super Yooka-Laylee Kart. I don't see why it would be a problem. I know it probably would be viewed as a problem, but what harm would it really do? I mean, you let Banjo, Kazooie, Conqueror, Cameo, a Fudgehog, Saberman, and others be in hashtag IDARB, and I love IDARB, but let's be honest, like, if IDARB doesn't hurt their standing, Super Yooka-Laylee Kart won't either.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to trust me on this.
Yeah. So, that being said, on the Rextro front, Gavin did say that Rextro was a shoo-in for the game. So, I don't think we have to worry about Rextro.
That's good. He deserves to be in this.
Yeah.
I think he might be one of my favorites, honestly.
Like I said, I didn't really care for him all that much in 2017, but then it was the Ukulele and the Cracklestone graphic novel. It was his new games in Yuka Replayly, The Rextro Bites Back, that really just turned the character around, and now, yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Once I get Replayly on the Switch, now that it isn't broken, I'm really looking forward to playing those mini games.
Yeah. Just Andre says, I spent a good 10 seconds just breathlessly repeating, what, to myself alone in my room when I saw the release date for Deltarune Chapter 5 was just weeks away. That was me when I saw DK Challenge. When I saw the DK Challenge logo pop up, I was like, first I cackled once again, because I always cackle whenever anything big Donkey Kong wise gets announced, but then I was like, what is this? What is this? Mobile game? What is this? And it was something unlike anything we've seen before. So, still, I know the feeling.
Yeah, you could have a game called Hyle Russell and the Cacklestone. I'm sorry. That's the first thing that came to mind.
I mean, a graphic novel, but yes.
No, it has to be a game.
Oh, okay. I'll have to make some calls. All right. We have a 7th caller, so let's go ahead and play that one.
Okay.
Hello, this is Traveler of the Stars, calling it in to stink it up. So, I gotta say, Hyle, I don't really like stinking it up because I like to smell good. So I'm kind of opposed to Stinky Ape Summer as a concept, but regardless, Hyle, good to hear from you. You know, I'm Tiki Gooning because of the event right now, the Emerald West event, but it's hard to not Tiki Goon all the time when you're always on the show, right? Malik, always great to hear from you and see you. You're one of my favorite co-hosts. I always enjoy your presence. Let's jump right into it. Now, the first thing I want to jump into is Super Yooka-Laylee Kart, because Hyle brought up that I'm a little more down on it. And just to be clear, I don't hate it, okay? I'm not like, this killed my grandma. I just think it's kind of lame. And when I hear from Hyle at DK Vine, you know, how Mario Kart has been resting on its laurels, they're not really evolving much until, like, World. I guess get a little rankled when Titanic, you know, on their social media say karting evolved. And I'm sorry, Hyle, but I don't think a rage meter and customization options, like, how is that more of an evolution than double dashes, like, to character per kart mechanic, or like underwater hang gliding and Mario Kart 7? I don't know. Anti-gravity. I don't know. I don't hate it. I just think it's kind of lame, and I don't know. I don't know who it's 4, because like DK audiences like you would want Diddy Kong Racing. So I don't know, I'm a little down on it. But let's get into the Nintendo Direct. Now I'm a huge RPG guy, so I was big into Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, and Persona 6. I love that, but you don't care about that, so I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about how cool it is that, DK, has all this, attention and content given to him, even when, he's not the main focus. Like, I just think that's really cool. It can show good things are ahead, so that's really, really cool. I'm also really excited that, about the Emerald Rush event. And at first, I was worried because I thought I was going to see more DK fans being like, oh, this is Mario cannibalizing DK. But I think it's very interesting how, that a DK crossing over with Mario 40th. I'm not really a doomer about that stuff, but I know some fans are. And the music, I mentioned the music, I actually think it's kind of beautiful because, there's the main Mario melody, but then there's the arcade DK theme, and then the country theme, and then also the Lagoon Layer theme. I love how it kind of represents the series are linked, but we kind of have different directions and different paths, and I think it's cool. And you mentioned before, you're okay with retro putting Metroid stuff in DK because, Rare put their stuff in a DK game, right? And Killer Instinct. So I think it's fine that the 3D Mario team put some Mario elements in Donkey Kong. I think it's fine. But overall, I am pretty positive on everything. The Direct could have been better, but I think Nintendo, after the Wii U, they were really hungry to kind of show they had a bunch of stuff. And people forget, 2018 was pretty barren aside from Smash, right? So I think now they're just spreading stuff out more. But regardless, I'm excited for the times ahead, and I just think it's great that it shows that even if, there's not, a Bananza game reveal, Nintendo they're continuing to push Donkey Kong even in small ways. So I just think it's great, but I will take my leave and have a good one. See ya.
Well, thank you for the call, Traveler of the Stars. So on Super Yooka-Laylee Kart, I will say, lest you think I'm a hypocrite, that a lot of the appeal I see towards Super Yooka-Laylee Kart is the story mode, is the way they're talking up, rooting the action of the game in a journey of the character that you're playing as. And so, like I said, we still don't know everything there is to know about it, but it seems like there is ambition there, even if this at first glance looks like just going back to Super Mario Kart, right? So I think it could fall flat on its face, and then we'll deal with that when we get there. But in the earliest days of the hype cycle for this game, I'm pleasantly surprised. Still not exactly what I wanted from them, but I'm more than willing to wait and see and meet it on its own merits. Because, look, with Playtonic, from the layoffs last year, through the release of Yooka-Laylee, I couldn't remember the name there for a second, because it's too many ukulele variations now, but through the release of Yooka-Laylee into this year, early this year, I think everybody was kind of down on talking about Playtonic because a lot of the hope for the studio's future as we once understood it was gone, right? Laying off so many of their younger devs who were supposed to be weaned at the teat of the old Rare vets, and now it's what's going to happen next? Is anything going to come out after Yooka-Laylee? I was never as pessimistic on that front as others in our community, but I am prone to absorbing some of the bad vibes, even if they're not being generated internally. If somebody who I'm close to keeps talking about how, well, this is probably it for Playtonic, they're going to shutter within a year, I'm going to feel that even if I don't believe that. You know what I mean? So I think Playtonic does have a ways to go to rebuild trust after that. Not to say it's up to people like Chris Sutherland or Kev Bayless or Steve Mails or Mark Stevenson or anybody to rebuild that trust, because they work there. It's it's up to management. It's up to Gavin to like help rebuild that trust in the studio. But the thing is, I'm rooting for them still. I might be upset with what went down and how so many people who I am a fan of lost their jobs as a result. And I might be on the outside looking in, very critical of some of the decisions made there. But I still want the studio to succeed, and I still want them to release games that we're not getting from anybody else. Even if these are games that I wouldn't necessarily say, that's exactly what I wanted you to make, thank you. Even if it has 30% of that old rare charm in it, I'm still going to be pleased. And so I think the journey with the hype cycle for Super Yooka-Laylee Kart will be kind of earning that trust back a little bit. And I'm not just going to immediately jump into it and be like, you've got me, I'm sold. But I have to cover it here at DK Vine anyway, right? So I might as well enjoy the journey, and I'm never going to go into a game anymore just slagging on it for no other reason than I have an axe to grind. You don't slag if you have an axe, but you know what I mean. I'm mixing metaphors because I don't know a more articulate way to say, like, I'm a glass half full guy, and if it sucks, I'll deal with that when it comes out. But for now, I'm going to look forward to it, and I'm going to look forward to the reveals and the beta test if I can get in on it and my computer can handle it. And yeah, we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, like we've said many times before on this episode, we're cautiously optimistic, and I mean, I want it to succeed, of course. Like I don't want to see these guys go under or anything bad, anything more bad occur
Right.
with them. So yeah, let's hope that this is good for everybody.
And also, I want to point out another thing we learned was that it's only 25% of the current staff that are making up the Super Yooka-Laylee Kart team. So they do have other stuff in development. So it wasn't like some of them were working on Yooka-Laylee and the rest have been doing Super Yooka-Laylee Kart since 2019. That's not the case.
Yeah, no. It's, as I call it, Yuka-Tuka.
Tuka-Laylee, there's another... I know some things that I'm not allowed to talk about, Malik, so...
I just want it to be called Yuka-Tuka because it sounds so stupid, but I love it. Yuka-Tuka.
As Cameron and I said on our Platonic episode, I think they need to start being concerned about search engine optimization, and you can't really... Yooka-Laylee was a wild swing, and I think they've learned their lesson from that. It's like, we need this to be easily digestible by idiots.
Who would have thought?
Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Layer confuse people, so, I mean, I think just saying bluntly what it is, Super Yooka-Laylee Kart, it sucks. I hate it as an old school Rare fan because, give me something called Banjo-Tooie. Let's get fucking weird with it, man. But
call it You-Kart-Laylee.
I think it's something that Rare figured out 20 years ago when Banjo Pilot was just called Banjo Pilot and not Banjo Kazooie or whatever.
I understand, but it's so much more fun. I know there's money on the line, but whatever.
All right. Well, Traveler also brought up the Nintendo Direct, and I'm so positive about the Nintendo Direct, even though I know most of the broader Nintendo fandom or other aspects of the greater Nintendo fandoms didn't like it because they didn't get something for their series, or they weren't happy with the reveals, or they thought it was underwhelming, or they're ready for Mario Kart World DLC, or they're ready to enter another Smash hype cycle. And for me, I'm just like, oh, you're keeping up the momentum for Donkey Kong? Cool. And
that's all I need from you.
That's all I need, because here's the thing. Here's the truth of the matter, Traveler and Malik and anybody listening. This is the first time since the late 90s that the Donkey Kong series has felt stable. And it's felt like it is going to just keep going and we're going to keep getting good things. It hasn't felt like this since the time of Donkey Kong 64. And specifically, I'm thinking it feels like the mid-90s again. It feels like when Donkey Kong Country was the hottest Nintendo game. No, just the hottest game, period. And then we were getting Donkey Kong Land and Donkey Kong Country 2, and you knew there was going to be Donkey Kong this or that on the N64. And it just felt like the possibilities were limitless. Even if things weren't being announced, you felt secure, you felt stable, and you just felt like we were on the ground floor of something special. That's the way it feels now for Donkey Kong. 30 years later, it feels like that again. And I can confirm, like, this is the way it felt back in the highs of Donkey Kong Country Mania. So, God, I never thought we would get here again. I always hoped, but I never truly thought we would get here again.
Yeah, I've only heard the stories from DKC Mania back then, but I'm happy I'm living it now, in the moment. It's great. It feels pretty good.
It seems like with each step we take, whether that is Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong characters in a Super Mario Brothers movie, the opening of the theme park, Bananza, and then this DK challenge and further Bananza support, it feels like with each step we take, we get more and more secure in our footing. And we're going to keep getting that in the slightly under 2 years, we believe, until the Donkey Kong movie. I assume it's April 2028. I can't see any other movie that would be, but it's just going to be like, oh yeah, here's more Donkey Kong toys on store shelves. Here's another Donkey Kong software release or something that boosts older Donkey Kong titles. And yeah, it's just going to feel more and more normal. It's going to keep bringing in more new fans. Younger fans are going to keep discovering Donkey Kong. And then the Donkey Kong movie might blow things wide open. And even if people hate it, even if it's critically panned, I still think it's going to have positive effects long-term for the franchise's health.
We'll see a Donkey Kong balloon in the Macy's Day Parade, and it'll actually just be a big old DKC balloon, extra life balloon.
Or a Bananza balloon, because they brought the head balloons back at the end of Bananza.
Yeah,
if you get
that's
1,000 Banandium gems, the balloons turn into Donkey Kong's head as like the final restoration of all things good and pure.
Mm-hmm. It's like they saw my video where I was like, without the faces in Retros games, it felt like a personal attack. And somebody on the Bananza team was like, I got you. This one's for you.
Traveler says, this is new for me. Admittedly, I always believed in you, Hyle. Well, that's what we've been talking about since 2018. When I said King K. Rool in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was just the beginning of phase 1 of Nintendo's plans for the restoration of Donkey Kong. And even then it was like, Donkey Kong Adventure in Mario Plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The first instances of Donkey Kong having separate brand managers at Nintendo from Super Mario, and just the slow build to Donkey Kong Bananza and the theme park and the movie. Like, once we cross the movie, then we will be in uncharted waters, because that will be like the last milestone we have to hit that we've been talking about on the Kongversation for the better part of the last decade.
I can't wait. I better start saving up money now.
TJ says, should Returns HD have been part of DK Challenge? I will save a lot of my thoughts on DK Challenge for our first impressions episode coming up probably next. But my only criticism of DK Challenge as it exists is I wish there was more to it. I wish there were more games included. I understand why they didn't want to have this massive barrier of entry. Like, it was already enough to have half of it gated behind Donkey Kong Bananza, but it would have been cool to have Returns HD in there and Donkey Kong 64 in there. And it's a shame that there aren't like more levels from the countries and lands. And that being said, I do understand why they limited it to Bananza, which represents like the massive new era for the series, and classic era, which we'll just define as anything on the base tier of NSO.
Yeah, like when I saw the challenges myself, I was like, "Oh, get through this DKC3 level with the owls shooting cheese balls at you," and I'm like, "I could do that in my sleep."
Yeah, right. And that and Bramble Blast were considered like hard challenges, and I'm sure they are if you are a novice, if you're just jumping into this without stretching your muscles for 30 years.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, honey, please. What can I do it blindfolded?
Honey, please. Oh, honey, child. Oh, you don't know
Darling,
anything.
Please, come on now. What do you take me for?
Yeah, it was the arcade era challenges I was worried about, and I had Donkey Kong Classics on the NES, so the actual like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. challenges didn't throw me at all, but it was Donkey Kong 3 and Donkey Kong Jr. Math that I was really nervous about, and to a lesser extent Donkey Kong 94, because it's been so long since I've tried to play through that game and I couldn't remember how Mario moved. Like I had to like look up the controls by pressing the shoulder buttons, because I was like, wait, can't Mario like do flips on ropes? But where's the rope? And it was fine.
That's okay.
I got it.
That's okay.
I got it. I did think it interesting that they picked a ship level from Donkey Kong 94. It was like they picked a ship level from Donkey Kong 94, but they picked a girder level from Donkey Kong Land.
And like a couple of the arcade ones are called like Freedom for DK, and I was like, DK Freedom?
There was Freedom from DK and Freedom for DK.
It's like they know. They know.
I was just happy to see dead Mario. Yeah,
when I fell off the ladder, I was like, nice.
Donkey Kong Jr., yeah, when you free Senior and you, like, the way the game depicts it is you're just icing Mario.
Mm-hmm. Or... That's just so good. Or when I died in the original Donkey Kong NES and it said rewind, and it's like, yeah, I think I will see Mario get killed again.
He just relives his death over and over and over again in a state of constant purgatory.
Mm-hmm. I am the master.
It should have been Bramble Scramble, just Andre. I think Bramble Scramble is a much more all-inclusive representation of a Donkey Kong Country 2 stage, but yeah.
And pain.
Traveler wants to know, before we move on, do you agree on my take of the Super Mario Emerald Rush music? Yeah, I do. We talked a little bit about it on the Nintendo Direct episode, but I only listened through it once, and most of my attention was focused on getting the Tiki Tong statue. So I only picked up on the fact that it was like the Super Mario Brothers 1-1 music, and DK Island Swing was in there. But yes, there's some of the arcade theme, and there's some of Lagoon Layer in there as well. So, I didn't get to hear Lagoon Layer while trying to unlock the Tiki Goon, but I only had so much gooning in me that day. But I do like that. It's good representation of, like I always say, the shared heritage of the two series, where they are kept at arm's length, but they still give each other a subtle little nod, silent, unspoken connection.
Yeah, I really like the tune. It's actually really fitting for just destroying everything in your wake and killing all the bad guys. It's like unhinged madness. I love it. Mm-hmm. And when they whistle Jump Up Superstar, it's the weirdest thing, because I thought, playing Bananza the first time, I thought that they whistled like the Mario World theme at some point. They don't. So when I actually heard Jump Up Superstar, I was like, oh my god, has this always been here? Or, but no, I think it's just
it's
now.
It's part of the special collaboration limited time thing. So
it freaked me out though. It's like, oh my god.
And look, I'm not going to get into the weeds on this. I'm not going to make a big show of it. I'm not going to upset people or rankle people, but I would just like to point out that the disc that you buy from Squawks for 999 Banandium chips for the Super Mario theme. It does say Super Mario Brothers 40th on it. So I'm just saying, oh yeah, Super Mario Brothers took place 40 years ago in the canon of Donkey Kong Bonanza. You figure that out. It works for me. It makes sense in my timeline. Fuck everyone else as I jump out of the plane as it explodes. DB Cooper style. That wasn't a 9/11 reference. That was a DB Cooper. DB Cooper didn't explode the plane, but I'm just making it even more dramatic.
Wait, who's DB Cooper?
Never. You know what? I'll explain it to you later, Malik. We only have one more call left, and my balls have gone straight through me, and I will have to urinate like a madman once we're done with this episode.
Understandable.
All right, let's play our 8th call. You can wiki search DB Cooper later, but DK Cooper, two of my favorite.
I was gonna say that.
DK Cooper, two of my favorite DKU characters. But all right, let's play our 8th call.
Okay.
Hello, Malik. Hello, Hyle. This is Carlmax calling in for the Stinky Ape Summer callback, I guess. I guess this is being branded. So I'm just going to go rapid fire through the 3 reveals that we've had here. Super Yooka-Laylee Kart, I think we've sort of adjudicated this already. But I want to say I think the reason that it's like sort of aping Super Mario Kart as opposed to like, you know, DK Kong Racing or even like a Mario Kart 64 is that Yooka-Laylee as a franchise sort of pitches itself as being a revival of like retro principles, like retro design principles. And it starts with the Banjo-Kazooie, obviously, but that's not the only sort of like retro market that exists. In fact, there's probably more people who are still like nostalgic for like, you know, the NES or like earlier Super Nintendo games than like most of Rare's like DKU pedigree. So I assume that's why they think that's going to have a slightly larger appeal than like explicitly aping DK Kong Racing or like Crash Team Racing or that sort of format. I've got to try DK Challenge and I do like it, but I think it's a little scuffed. Like it's obvious this is like kind of thrown together because, you know, the NSO ones work fine because they can just load up a ROM or something. But with Bananza, not only do you have to like have the game in yourself, you have to like slot the cartridge in, which like fine, whatever. But you have to like manage the entire thing yourself. You have to go to every like challenge room yourself, and like for example, like the first challenge they have was like you have to like complete a challenge room in like 40 seconds or something. Because that wasn't the original intent. If you like beat it fast enough to like get the 2 bananas or whatever, but not fast enough to like win the challenge, you have to just reset the entire thing yourself. So I think that could have been handled better. Maybe it would require a little bit of extra work, but would have been appreciated. Finally, you know, people are saying that the Mario Brothers have been humiliated. Their clothes have been stolen, just like boost up DK Bonanza a little more. You know, at least Luigi got to keep his shoes. Thank you for taking the call.
Yeah, well, thank you for the second call and ending on feet, which I always like to do. It's the hallmark of any good Callsack episode is go out on feet. It's what people love. It's what our community loves.
I guess.
Yeah, DK Challenge is not perfect, and I will save more of my formal thoughts for it on the next episode, but I actually haven't played any of the challenges in Bananza that like require the specific I was wondering how it handled it because it's like you have like these very specific conditions. You have to like actually leg it to that specific location in Bananza, or does it like load up automatically for you? And I guess you just answered that for me. Not a huge fan of that, but it's fine. It's fine.
The one thing that ticked me off was seeing the artwork for DK Challenge, and the one on the left that's like a trace over. They forgot to color in part of DK's chest area. It's brown instead of like beige, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was still fun to see that because, I mean, that's the kind of like weird ancillary artwork that would pop up in promotional things during the era I was talking about, like the height of Donkey Kong Country Mania. You would just see that on like merchandise and you'd be like, what? Where's that from? And yeah, I think Mario fans, I don't know why they get so weird about this. Obviously, they want a new Mario game. And I understand that want, and I understand that disappointment. But out of any fandom, you lot have the least to worry about because you will always be getting something. So you didn't get anything for this Nintendo Direct. You didn't get anything. And in fact, the only thing you got was just the clothes of your characters in Donkey Kong Bonanza. But like you're going to get a new game in like a year or two. Like, you don't have long to wait, and there will be side games along the way as well. So Nintendo has not forgotten about Mario. We just came off of the hype for the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah, like, so where were y'all?
that was 2 months ago.
Which in internet time was a century ago.
I guess I have a different perspective having to navigate 11 years between Donkey Kong releases, standalone Donkey Kong releases, new Donkey Kong releases. So, I don't know. It's just like, get over it. Like, you're not gonna get everything from every Nintendo Direct, but you will be getting something relatively soon, and probably before a lot of other Nintendo franchises do. So, like, this is fine for what it is, and it was just another way they could commemorate the Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary in a small way that doesn't disrupt anything too much.
Yeah, as someone who really likes Mario too, I mean, I'm okay with that guy taking a break for a little while. It's cool. Let him just chill for a bit.
He's like in his 60s by now, canonically.
Yeah.
Like he needs the sleep. He needs the slumber. But
the sleep before the big sleep.
He needs to be put to sleep, like in Donkey Kong Jr. when he fell.
That is not, I wouldn't call that sleep.
It's the best sleep you'll ever have.
REM? Nah, DED. Dead.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.